Hi, my name is Mark, and I, with my wife, own and operate a on-premise winemaking store called Off the Vine on Vancouver Island. I'm also the creator of a new winemaking, beer making, and cider making machine called the VINTNER 225L. And today I'm going to show you how easily it is to make a batch of beer using the VINTNER. Okay, so let's get started. Literally about 15 minutes ago, I transferred the wine that was in this primary container over to the secondary. And that's all done now. And I just did a quick rinse on the primary because we're just going to throw the batch of beer in there and get that going. So remove the lid here. Also, because with beer, it's a little bit different than the cider and the wine, because beer tends to foam up a lot when it starts to ferment, and that could be really messy. So what we're doing is the kit that we're using is a brewhouse kit. It's a 15-liter kit, very good kits. They're 15 liters, so they're going to fill up, and that's as far as we're going to fill up the stainless steel fermentation vat. And after about 3 days, when the foaming goes down, we can top it up to the 23-liter mark, and we'll be good. Okay, so, but in the meantime, also, this kit has been sitting at room temperature, so about 70 degrees. Typically, you want to start your yeast at about between 90 and 100 degrees actually, just to get it going. Once it gets going, it's good, it can adjust. So I've already started the yeast here. And like I say, if our body temperature is 97 degrees Fahrenheit, so if you touch the water and you can't really tell, it's kind of neutral. Even if it's a little bit on the cool side, that's the best, better than being on too warm. That should be really good for the yeast to get going. It already smells pretty good. So that's been going for about 5 minutes now, and that'll get hydrated. So you want beer to start fermenting really quickly. We could sprinkle the yeast right on top, but being such a cool temperature, it's going to take a while for the yeast to get going. And with beer, it doesn't have the acids in it that wines do, so it needs to have that fermentation to protect it. So it needs that lag time to be as short as possible, so that yeast gets going and converts the sugars to alcohol, and everything's protected. Okay, so what we'll do is, very important thing always to do is always, before you put anything into the fermenters, is make sure that the valve at the bottom, the hose at the bottom, is closed. Now I had the male inserted in here so that I could clean out the line. So now I'm going to take that out, because that opens up the valve. So there's the little male insert. So I'm just going to stick it in there for now. That's a little spot for it. And now we can go and put anything in there, and it's not going to pour out onto the floor for us. So, like I said, this is a brewhouse kit from Spagnell's. It's a very good kit. They're a little pricey. They're about $37 a kit. Still at just over $6 for a case of beer when it works out, because these kits make 23 liters, or about 5.5 cases of beer. So the best way to do this and get that in there without spilling too much, actually what I'm going to do first, before I do that, is in these kits come a little package of potassium bicarbonate, and that's just an acid adjuster, pH adjuster, because when they package the wort for beer, they try to keep it a little bit on the acidic side, because that keeps the freshness longer. So this will adjust the pH up where beer should be. Just throw that in there, little package. Now another package in here is your priming sugar, and that's what we'll deal with in about 10 days from now. Just put that aside. So just grab the neck of your bag, if you're doing one of these kind of kits, really tight, then you can pour it in here. I'm going to save a little bit of that just to pour into my, to show you here, pour into my yeast. Just I want to bring up, or bring down the temperature a little bit so I don't shock the yeast when I throw it in. So I'm just going to add a little bit of that. Just a little bit to gradually bring down the temperature. Do it one more time. That should be good. Whoops, a little spillage. Oh, I'll get that later. Okay, we got that in there. Now we can go ahead and add our started yeast here. Throw that in there. Now the difference when you're making beer over the wine and the cider, like I said, it's going to foam up. So in order to prevent it from making a big mess, what we're going to do is we're going to take our lid, which has our hole in it for the airlock. And typically that's your airlock that I use for these units. Just a check valve on top. Works really good. But we want oxygen to reach the growing yeast for the first 3 days. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we're going to take the bung here with the hole. We're going to take a short piece of food grade hose. We're going to stick it in there, top. Get in there really good. Okay. Then we're going to clamp down this lid. Because if you don't clamp down the lid, the foam is just so powerful with beer that it's just going to sneak out anyways. Even though the lid is fairly heavy, we want to clamp that down. Okay, good and tight. All right, now we can take that and put that into the hole in the lid there. Really good and tight, make sure there's no leakage there. Then what I do is I take a wine bottle. I've already probably put it in there, I did. Okay, so I've just got an empty wine bottle. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the hose in there. Just so the hose is about halfway down or so. Put the hose in there. That allows oxygen to go into the tank. Give the yeast time to multiply and grow. Now, tomorrow, the next day, you're going to see, if you lift the lid, you're going to see the foam traveling through the hose. And that's what it should be. It's catching all that foam, and you'll probably end up after a couple of days with about an inch of beer in the bottom of that wine bottle, or any container. You can use anything. And that's about it. And after the 3 days, once you see the foam's not traveling anymore, it's almost retreating, it's dying down, you can lift the lid off, check it, make sure that the foam's down, and then just gradually add some water to it, gradually until it comes up to the 23-liter mark. Sometimes if you add even just water to something that's been fermenting with all that CO2 in it, it can create like a volcanic eruption. So you just add a little bit at a time just to see how it's going to react. And usually it's fine, it doesn't do anything. And then you just top it up to the 23-liter mark, clamp down the lid, put the proper airlock on, seal it right up, and leave it for about a week. With beer, it's about 10 days, and it's completely done. It's ready to transfer. And that's what we're going to do. Because in a week from now, the wine that I just transferred over here for clearing, I'll have bottled in a week from now. So that'll be empty, that'll be ready for the beer. It's actually a customer's beer, and this is how I do it for my customers now. I don't do a lot of beer here, mainly wine, but there's the odd customer that likes this kind of process done for their beer. So when we do transfer it over, all you have to do is add the priming sugar to the vat, stir it in with a spoon. It takes 8 minutes to transfer over. And once that's done, you immediately hook up the lines to your filler and start bottling wine. And then you got to let your bottle sit for about 10 days at room temperature and to self-carbonate. And then you can stick whatever you want in the fridge and enjoy a really good beer. Okay, so that's about it for that. But I wanted to show you one other thing, and that's whenever you use the pump or the lines, and I've probably said this before in other videos, but you have to always clean the pump and the lines before and after each use. So I'm just going to quickly show you because it's really quick to do that. So you just take some water, like this, a little jug of water, and I've got my little container here of sulfite, so I just use a pinch of sulfite, throw it in there, dissolve it, that's good. Before I add that to anything, I take the lines that I've got down here off the pump, so the intake line, I just hook it up to the clean port, and the outtake line, I hook it up to the fill port. It's easy, just grab each one and put it in there. And you just add this to your back reservoir. Pull it right up, and then just hit the button. So that's it. The pump and the lines are clean. Now you can go ahead, if you were transferring or using it, just remember to make sure that once that's all done, like you're bottling your beer, clean out your lines again, and you're done. I can unhook those. And that's about it. Everything's hooked up, everything's ready to go. I can go do something else now. All right, that's how easy that was. Thanks for watching. Bye now.